Hey, welcome to our project. Our project seeks to demonstrate the use of virtual host adapters to create a lab environment where the aspiring pen tester can practice movements such as pivoting through segregated networks. The project offers a practice environment where a pen tester can compromise one vulnerable host and then proceed to use the compromised host to reach other hosts on separate networks internally. In this demonstration, the group will compromise a publicly facing host using a basic SSH shell. We'll show what tools and vulnerabilities we use to our advantage to accomplish this initial penetration of the network, and then show not only does it have public interface, but also an interface that's connected to an internal network. We can use the host that we've already compromised to scan the internal network and run attacks against any targets connected to it. So, let's jump in. Before we begin, we need to set up our network. We want our Kali box and a public facing host on one adapter. You can create host-based adapters through Oracle. Next, we want to build our internal network using second host-based adapter. At the end of our practice environment, we'll have our Kali attack box on host 1 only, our first vulnerable box on adapter 1 and 2, and our internal box on adapter 2 only. We'll need to do a bit more groundwork before our second box is up and running. As we start the demonstration, we'll do some basic reconnaissance to determine our subnet. We can then run nmap to see what kind of attack surfaces may exist and potential attack vectors on any host. Okay, great. Lots to choose from here and work with. Maybe we'll start with something more familiar and try to get an SSH shell between our Kali box and the host we've just revealed with our nmap scan. Alright, now we can fire up our Metasploit console and search for SSH login exploits. We're going to need to see what our options are so we know what to set. We'll need to set the R host to the IP we discovered with nmap username to the username for the box and the password. Now we can go ahead and run it. Success! We can list our current sessions and see that we have a shell. We'll use that shell and move on from there. Now that we have a shell, we can run ifconfig and see that we have another network we weren't able to see earlier. Interesting. Let's dig deeper here. If I go back to my Kali terminal and try to scan this new network, I get nothing. No route available. Let's fire back up our Metasploit console and see if we can find a tool to help us out more. We can search for audit route. Use this and set to session 2. Sweet, we have 2. Now we can implement a ping sweep and see what kind of hosts are using this new network. Our ping sweep has revealed that we have 3 hosts on this internal network. I want to see what kind of ports and services they may have running. We can search for a port scan tool. Let's go by those using TCP. Set our host to the host we turned up using our ping sweep and let it run. Okay, they've got a lot to choose from. Let's try the next one. Similarly vulnerable. But again, we still cannot reach these vulnerable hosts. It will not respond to a ping from our Kali box at all. It is unreachable. However, now that we have our target host and we have access to the initial box we compromised, we can use our SSH exploit to pivot from the first public facing box to any host sharing the internal network behind it. Set our host, set username and password, and run. We now have an SSH shell through the internal network. And there you have it. We've now successfully compromised the second internal host.